video is brought to you by Crunchyroll, the best place for anime ever. And if you sign up for premium membership today, you get 1 free month of the highest quality anime there is to offer. Loads of great shows like Naruto, Sword Art Online, Bleach, Fairy Tail, One Piece, and my favorites, Dragon Ball Super and Mob Psycho 100, along with hundreds of others, can be streamed ad-free. All new episodes are professionally subtitled and are available only hours after they're released in Japan. This truly is the best and easiest way to keep up on all your favorite anime. Crunchyroll is available for almost every streaming platform, including iPhone, Android, Xbox One, PS4, PC, tablet, and many, many more. So make sure you guys head out there, get your free month of quality anime today by going to crunchyroll.com/KMACK. That's K-M-A-C-K. But anyway, guys, let's jump right into today's video. The Sony PlayStation 4 is truly an amazing piece of gaming hardware that has some of the best games ever made developed for it. Games like The Last of Us Remastered, Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn are all breathtaking. You really appreciate just how far console gaming has come. But on the other hand, there are more than a handful of games that are just not that great. I'm your host, as always, KMAC Time, and today I want to take a closer look at the top 10 worst PS4 games of all time. Starting on our list is Call of Duty Ghosts, and this is the game that really made me stop being interested in Call of Duty. This entry into the series came at a very odd time. The next-gen systems had just come out, but millions of people were still playing on their Xbox 360s or PS3s, so they basically just ported those versions onto the newer systems, and it was awful. The game failed to take advantage of the new system's horsepower, and when compared to more modern PS4 games, it is very clear how bad this game looks. But graphics aren't everything. If the game is fun, then who cares, right? Well, the game wasn't fun, not even a little bit. COD fans have almost universally hate this entry, so much so that we are likely to never get a sequel to it, even though the campaign ended on a cliffhanger. But hey, I'm not complaining because this game truly sucked. Number 9 goes to a lesser known game called Toro, and as you may have guessed, it is a bullfighting game. Now, it never got a physical release in the United States, but you can import it from Spain, or you can actually download it on the PSN store. But I don't really know why anyone would want to do that, as this game is about as boring as it gets. I mean, just look at this gameplay. You basically press quick time buttons to avoid the bull, and that's basically it. Not only is the gameplay awful, but it looks like a PS2 game and has incredibly dated looking graphics. Bad gameplay, bad graphics coupled together make for one hell of a bad game. Just be glad this one never made its way to America. Next up is Watch Dogs, and at this point you should all know how disappointing and crappy this game was, and it was overhyped and everyone thought it was going to be the next GTA 5, but it ended up being a redheaded stepchild compared to it. I mean, it was just awful. It was boring, dumbed down version of the game we were promised and shown at trailers at E3, and everyone was so pissed off about that. And it was another one of those games that was also released on the last gen, so it didn't take advantage of the PS4 hardware as well as it could have, and it even struggled to run at a consistent frame rate. Overall, Watch Dogs isn't an awful game, but it just couldn't live up to the hype train that surrounded it and let gamers down incredibly, so that's why it makes our list. Coming in at number 7 is a game that is so pointless I am shocked it even made its way onto the PSN store. It's called My Name is Mayo, believe it or not. It's about as dumb as it sounds. All you do is mash buttons to touch the mayo jar on screen and interact with it, and make it do weird things like dress up in a thong and all other kinds of outfits. Again, not too sure what the hell people were smoking with this one, but it is terrible. The only redeemable thing about the game is that it's literally the world's easiest platinum trophy, as you can get all 51 trophies in as little as 20 minutes with next to no effort. I, however, would rather eat a handful of actual mayo than play this one, so make sure you guys steer clear of this shit pile. Next up is a game called Dog Child, and no, this game is not actually about a cross between a hybrid between a human and a dog, which would actually be somehow better than this piece of crap. It's actually about a game about a dog and a child, go figure, that are on a quest to figure out what happened to the child's parents. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, the gameplay is super shitty. The camera angles are terrible, you control the dog a lot. There's like no voice acting in this game at all, except for the dog's barking, which is also weird. Like I said, the controls are awful. The gameplay is bad. The fighting sections are awful. There's also these weird platforming sections, and I kept finding myself getting completely lost with no sense of direction, not knowing where I needed to go, what I needed to do, and that is like one of the biggest, most frustrating things you can do to a gamer, is to have them not know where to go, what to do, and have them completely lost. And that's what made this game so freaking frustrating and terrible. I mean, if you guys can make it all the way through this, it's only like an hour and a half long, on top of being that it's like a short and really shitty gameplay, and there really wasn't any kind of end to the story either. Just completely avoid this one if you can. Just cracking my top 5 is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, and it's sad that this once proud series has gone so far off the rails and found its way onto this list, but it had to be done. Tony Hawk 5 is a total abomination. Easily one of the glitchiest games ever to make its way onto the PS4, and it has a game-breaking bugs that makes it impossible to reach checkpoints, resulting in you having to reset the game and try over, which is a total cardinal sin in today's gaming world. But I could possibly overlook some of the bugs and the glitches if the gameplay was good. But nope, it's not either. It doesn't feel as fast-paced, free-flowing as previous Tony Hawk games, and the level design is just lackluster at best. It does offer online gameplay with friends, but again, it's pretty damn broken, so good luck trying to get that to work. They may have patched it now, but back when it released, it was just such a shit show. If you're looking for a good Tony Hawk game, just stick to Tony Hawk Underground on the PS2 or GameCube. Number 4 goes to one of the oddest Mario Kart ripoffs I've ever seen. It's called Coffin Dodgers, and like I said, it's a Mario Kart ripoff, but instead of cute and lovable Nintendo characters, we get weird old people racing around in their motorized scooters, which is actually, when you think about it, a pretty funny premise for a game, but it was very poorly executed. I mean, track designs in the game are incredibly boring and sometimes make it hard to maneuver. You'll find yourself in the corners a lot or making hard turns. It didn't really feel all that great, but the most important thing about a kart racer is how it handles. Mario Kart set a gold standard for this years ago. I mean, it feels so good to get on Mario Kart 64 and drift a corner or hit the jumps, the graphics or whatever, but the gameplay is so solid, it holds up even today. Unfortunately, I can't say that's the same about this game. It just feels weird. It feels so slippery and loose, and it's hard to navigate the courses, and it feels really floaty. The gameplay's just kind of meh on top of that. I mean, there's weapons and power-ups and speed boosts and all that kind of stuff you would expect in a wacky kart racer like this, but it's just not that great. And it's a shame it was done so poorly, because it could have been loads of fun, and it's a kind of a cute premise, but very, very skippable game. Next up is our only PlayStation VR game on the list, and that is Ace Banana, which is an odd little game where you play as an archer banana who has to fend off waves of evil monkeys with a bow and arrow. And the premise sounds cute enough for a simple gallery shooter type game to show off what the PSVR can do, but the game ended up being a total train wreck. Many people complained about having to recalibrate the settings countless times during the game to be able to hit their targets, which is just super frustrating when you're trying to, aim with the motion controllers. You want them to be accurate, otherwise the game's just kind of pointless, and having to recalibrate them over and over in the middle of the game can make the experience very frustrating. But the biggest complaint about the game is it's simply too repetitive, and there wasn't enough content to really make you want to play it for more than a few minutes at a time. Basically, it's a glorified tech demo, except that it costs $15, and many people felt that they had wasted their money, especially since they could have spent that money on a game like Until Dawn Blood Rush, which is a much better PlayStation VR rail shooter, and actually a really good game, so look into that one. In our runner-up spot, we have Godzilla, and this game was such a letdown when it came out. I was a huge fan of the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters fighting game back on the GameCube, and I was pumped when I heard a similar title was coming to the PS4. Too bad this one is nowhere near as good. First off, other than the character models, the game looks like it could be a PS2 title. It looks very boring and has these weird backdrops, and the cities of the game all look the same. There's not much detail in them. They're kind of copy and pasted. It looks just kind of stupid, and like they didn't put that much effort into it. One of the biggest problems people have with the game is the controls are super clunky and just weird. They don't lend themselves to fast, fun-paced gameplay, which is just kind of a weird thing to do. Speaking of gameplay, it gets incredibly repetitive, having to do similar goals over and over and over. You basically smash your way through a city, destroying everything in sight without much opposition until you come upon a boss What you would think is like, yes, the boss, but again, like the clunky controls and the slow movement even make boss fights kind of boring. Overall, the game is a total dud, and you should probably just avoid this one at all costs. And finally, my number one worst PS4 game of all time goes to Life of Black Tiger. And man, where do I start with this heaping pile of shit? This game should have never seen the light of day on the PSN store, but it somehow made its way onto the store. Not only that, but Sony decided to promote the game and with release trailers for it on their official webpage and on their YouTube channel the same day as Nintendo Switch made their announcement of the system. Many people thought that this was just Sony trolling, but no, this game was actually released and it cost actual money, $10. But anyone who wants to waste $10 to play this piece of crap is beyond me. I mean, just look at it. It looks like an awful PS1 game. It's terrible. The character models are miserable. The tiger doesn't even have full animations. When you turn left or right, it just has a 30-degree turn instead of having a full body animation. That's the cheapest way to possibly do that. That's so terrible. That's awful. Their gameplay is also just stupid and like cringeworthy. Like you basically just hunt and kill animals as humans as a black tiger, but the attacks and movements are so poorly animated, it just makes you want to gouge your own eyeballs out. I mean, there's not a single redeeming quality about this game at all. It is a complete pile of hot garbage from top to bottom, and nobody should ever waste their time or money on it. Please, please, God, just take this off the PSN store. It's a joke for this to be on a PS4 console. But anyway, guys, that's all I have time for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed. And if you guys did, make sure to hit that like button. Let's try and shoot for 500 likes. It really helps out my channel when you guys do that. Also, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this in your sub box. And like I said, let me know down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you guys played any of these games? Do you guys have other games that suck that I should know about? Please let me know all that stuff down in the comment sections down below. Also, check out some of my previous PS4 videos. Done a few in the past and some Xbox One videos as well. But until next time, guys, remember that's always came back time somewhere. So take it easy and peace out.